Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The Mountain Between Us. Secretly, this was kind of one of my more anticipated films for the fall film season. Idris Elba, Kate Winslet in this mountain survival thriller. Sign me up. But then I got into the movie theater and felt a little bit bamboozled because that's not what this movie actually is. And this is the classic case of the film marketing team kind of mismarketing the film that audiences are actually getting. And me being someone who wasn't familiar with that source material at all was completely caught off guard with the actual movie that came. So yeah, pretty disappointed right now. But let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I mentioned both of our lead actors who carry the majority of this film, and that is Idris Elba and Kate Winslet. Both of them are amazing as per usual. I think they had a really nice, natural chemistry throughout the film. They had their usual charms. They really acted well. It worked. And I think if it weren't for their strong performances, or if we had lesser actors in these lead roles, this movie would have completely failed. But thankfully, they are good enough, they are charismatic enough, and they had enough chemistry to really take the brunt of this film and lift it to a watchable level. I also want to give kudos to the cinematographer because the landscape was gorgeous and the shots in the mountains were just beautiful. And it was really breathtaking to just see this side of the Rocky Mountains. And you could definitely understand why we had a photographer here who just had to get some pictures out there because it really was gorgeous. I also thought the dog was super adorable and pretty awesome. So I enjoyed all of the time we got to spend with this dog throughout the entire film. And the first act, the act in which this is a survival thriller, is pretty solid. I think it's the strongest act in the film, and I kind of wish it had just kept more on that pace than what we get later on. So that kind of leads us right into those negatives. The biggest one being that this is a romance. It's not a survival thriller. It is a straight up romance. And I don't think it's actually that well of an executed romance at that. So while Kate Winslet and Idris Elba have kind of a natural chemistry between the two of them that salvages a lot in this movie, the dialogue is not good. I mean, there are some lines in this movie that are laugh out loud bad. Not to mention, the filmmakers themselves don't help Idris and Kate at all because they skip over long stretches of relationship development. So instead, when we're supposed to be feeling these things and when there's a big aha romance moment happening on the screen, instead of us already just having our breaths taken away naturally, the filmmakers put in really weird moments in these flashback sequences where they're basically just exchanging looks or whether they're holding each other's hands to keep them warm. There was hints of romance in some of these moments, but it was oh, this is the best we could come up with. This is the montage we have because we haven't actually developed this budding relationship. Plus, just the direction in general was very pedestrian. I mean, the directing in this movie was nothing special. It was mostly bland lighting when it wasn't natural light up in the mountains, and then we would get those weird kind of beauty close-up shots of the actors where they were lit really weird. It screamed generic, outdated kind of romance directing style. And these second two acts, as it begins really devolving into this romance film, are so generic. They offer nothing really new, nothing exciting. You know where it's all going and where it's all headed down. So you're just kind of waiting for it to get on with it already. And there's not nearly enough happening throughout this film to keep you interested. I actually was pretty bored through a lot of it because even when we're out there in the wilderness and doing things, there's a whole lot of shots of Kate Winslet sleeping. There's a whole lot of shots of just nothing happening. So I got bored, and honestly, this movie at about an hour 45, 2 hours, felt a lot longer than the 2 hours and 45 minute Blade Runner 2049, in my opinion. And that's definitely not a good sign for the filmmakers. Plus, of course, so many things just seem like crazy, and I really wish that maybe they had taken the time to give a commentary on us as humans, and in particular maybe Americans and our self-entitlement, thinking that what we have to do tomorrow is more important than all these other people here in the airport. I need on that plane more than anybody else. And then what we're willing to do to make sure we're sticking on these arbitrary schedules, or that we're being somewhere instead of just simply rescheduling or working around it. That we're willing to just ignore red flags. We're willing to just ignore all of these warning signs. And if the film had followed up with that a little bit and hit that home a little bit harder, it could have been a great theme for the movie. But it kind of demonstrates that, but it's more earnest. It's more about these characters just okay, let's throw caution to the wind because I'm the reckless one, and then Idris Elba later coming back with I'm the controlling one. So overall, The Mountain Between Us was not at all what I was expecting, and honestly not at all what I was hoping for when I entered the theater. And what it wanted to be, it didn't execute all that well. So if you are curious about this film, I say give it a rental. There's enough salvageable stuff in here to make it worth $1.50. But if you, like me, are going into this hoping for this survival thriller up in the mountains where these two have to use each other to survive, this is not the movie you're gonna be getting. So, that has been my review of The Mountain Between Us. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below, and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The Mountain Between Us? Have you already seen it? If you have, what do you think? Did you agree with some of what I had to say? And were you caught off guard when you actually saw what this movie was going to be about? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!